stop to turn it on?
It's all good.
Okay, and then is it recording? Oh, okay, cool. All right. So it's the red thing is on? Yeah. Oh, that was fast. Huh. Okay, so coupling to the block, if it's put sideways on the spine, this is not good for the spine generally. We like to line it up here against the sacrum. I don't know why I always mix these two up with the sacrum. So if you put it against your sacrum like that, it's generally pretty safe.
Really? So you said you can't do it?
Put it right there on your spine is not so good. I don't recommend it because if it's on the wrong angle for a student,
Okay.
it can dislodge one of their vertebrae.
So this is not safe then? Lay it like that and then go like that?
If you're doing it on your own body, fine.
With normal people, you're
I
saying-
wouldn't teach that.
Okay.
I would not. A pillow, maybe.
Okay.
But generally speaking, no. Okay, so like this. So watch. So go into bridge. I'll show you how I do this particular one. So I'll go bridge. Line up. Hip distance apart. Grab your block. Turn it on its 6-inch end. Or actually, this is more like an 8-inch end. Take the block and put it underneath your sacrum, like this. So turn it sideways, Elizabeth, like the other
Like
way.
that?
Spin it. Wait,
Okay.
let me see. You can do
Horizontal?
it either way.
You want it
Spin-
horizontal or vertical spine? Okay.
Well, feel it both ways. It's done both ways.
Okay.
I personally don't like it like this, but the sacrum is strong enough to do it like this. I turn it on its parallel line. So spin it, yeah, like that.
I think I
Yep.
like vertical.
Yeah, and then it, like this, right? That's correct. Yep, that's it. So that is, do you feel how that's really safe? Right? It's not pinching on your spine at all. It's on, because it's on the sacrum. And you can even relax. Like, look, like I can just, like, see how my legs are just turned out? Like, I can put all of my weight on this block right now and just relax. So just let's hold it. So this is like a restorative problem. Really good to like stretch the psoas a little bit, to relax the pelvis. Do you guys feel that?
Yeah, that's what I like about
Do you feel how too, like, it relieves tension in the pelvis you didn't even know you had?
Oh my god, I love it.
I have
Right?
a question. Like, is there any way to make it more intense?
If you wanted to for a student?
Well, like, I feel like I'm not getting much of a stretch out of this personally.
Okay. But it's not really a stretch. It's really not like that much of a stretch. It's more of like a, the shorter answer is yes, by pushing down here, like on the 2 ilium.
Okay.
You pushed on their hips. But this is a very, again, like I was saying before, you better know someone really well to push on their hips in this particular pose because 2 reasons. One, there's a potential for maybe a pinching of a nerve or something. And 2, because there's that fine line between that and there could be like a claim because it's kind of, it's the hips. So you want to be very careful. A lot of it's it's where you're coming from that the students will most likely pick up on. So like if you're more clinical about it, you'll be fine. But I don't generally push on the front of people's hips. I just don't do it. The longer, do you feel it more now?
It feels so good.
Look at my feet and then look at my knees. You guys, do you see that? I'm turning the feet out and the knees out. Try that, Carly. Like open bound hip. Like bring your knees apart and feet closer together.
Is it okay if I put my feet together like that?
Yeah, if it feels good, it's
Because
fine.
it feels so. Okay,
Yeah,
it feels
how's
easy.
that? Yeah.
When I put my feet together.
Yeah, if
and
you want, you can do that. Like I can do this. It's totally fine. Like,
I feel it in my stomach.
yeah. You don't feel the, Carly, you don't feel the stretch?
I feel it now.
Okay. And then you just breathe deep and just relax. And you could even do like a chant internally. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. 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 Yeah. Exhale through the mouth. Good. And then use your hands and press your knees together again slowly, carefully. And then lift off the block.
I love that.
And then just relax. Good. And then just hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Good. Now another one that you can do with this is here, which I do this one. I do this one all the time with new students. And this one is really helpful for students that are tight. I get a lot of tight athletic students, runners for instance. Some people also are biologically tighter than others. It's just how it is. I had kids, I had a class, I'll never forget this, like an 8-year-old kid that was super tight, like he just had no flexibility in his body. He inherited a tight body. It's just how he is. You know, he's tight. So take a look. So they can't reach the ground in certain poses. The block then lifts it for you. So you use the block as a prop. So instead of them struggling to hold the pose, you say, you know what? Put a block down, catty corner to your arms, like off to the edge a little bit. It's like a little to the right. That's because they also usually, along with the tightness, they have trouble balancing. Yep. And then put your hand on the block. Elizabeth, put a little more to your left. There, like that. So that way if they start falling over, because with a tight body comes also, like they have trouble balancing with it for some reason. I don't know why it is, but it is. And then the same thing with the twist. Now this is in the set as well. So you come out of it, and let's say they're on the other side now, they're twisting. So now it's catty corner off to the edge of the mat. The reason you put it off to the edge is so that they have like another foot to balance on. So they're not in line. They're off to the side. Yep, like that. Do you see how that adds? Now watch, put it right in front of your foot. The block. Now try to balance. See how much harder it is?
These are twisting.
Yeah, it's much harder. Much harder. Yeah, you're twisting more. It says now put it off to the edge again. Now put it and feel that. Careful, Carly. You see how you can really balance now. So for a newer student, that prop in our class is actually useful. I don't typically want people using blocks if they don't need it, but if they need it, they can use it. Okay. So, prop. Another one. Virasana. So one where you sit between your knees like this, sit between your heels. Right? You guys seen that? You roll your calves out. This is a great pose. Now, but for a lot of people, super painful. With the block.
Like this?
So I'm just like sitting on it like that.
Oh, you're just sitting.
See?
Oh, yeah, 'cause some people can't.
You can do that. You can turn it up. You can turn it like this. See that angle, 6-inch angle? You can sit on it like that too. Although I personally don't find that very comfortable. But you can sit on the block. And then you can lower it down. Like this is, I'm not that inflexible. Okay, put it on its flat end. So now I'm on the flat side. And now I can kind of sit back, right? And I sort of like, you start to feel the stretch. You guys feel that in the quads? And so you just start to sit back and just kind of breathe into that. Just, okay, I can relax now. Another one, believe it or not, forward folds. Same thing here. They sit there, you get a student super tight. They're like this. I can't. Dude, grab your. They just keep falling back. So then you say, okay, grab the block. You have them for some reason. I don't know why this works, but it does work. You put them on the block. Now reach forward. And they're like, oh, I can stretch now, So it enables them because it gives them just enough lift and just enough of an angle. Yeah, try it. Watch. So like forward fold again. So you can stretch down. Right? None of you guys feel that probably, but you feel the difference.
I still
You can feel the angle, right?
Yeah.
So this will actually help a student get into a forward fold unassisted. So when you have a brand new student who's tight, just grab them a block. And you could say, you could tell them, grab a block just in case. And then when you go in to teach to use the prop, bring the block so you can show them on your block, hey, put it like this, and then they'll get it. They'll be able to use it. Another one too, classic one in this style. Lower back pain when they do fierce pose. So grab your block. Fierce pose. Every time I do that, I feel like my tailbone. Or they usually say tailbone, which is they mean their coccyx, but they're saying they mean the sacrum. I always mix these two up for years. They mean the sacrum, but they're saying it's their tailbone, which is their coccyx. So you grab the block, put it up high. Let them put it up high. Give them the block and show them on your block. Here's how you put it. Then, when they do fierce pose, they squeeze their knees together and then do it. And for some reason, it prevents the sacroiliac pressure in their lower back from compressing. Because think about what it's doing. It's leveraging their lower back apart. Their hip bones, their ilium are coming away from each other, which then now they can do it all of a sudden. They're like, oh my God, that totally fixed my problem. That fixed my sacroiliac pain there. The sacroilium, right? So these two, sacral, ilium, sacrum, ilium, sacroiliac joint. That for some reason is a big issue with a lot of people. It's from sitting, and it's also from being hunched over in their cars and in their phones. Block comes in handy. So use that to squeeze the block. Did everyone feel that? So you can use these. Now again, it's up to you in the end. You should know about blocks and how to use them. And there are many other ways to use them. These are the fundamentals for the poses that we mainly do. Another one they can't reach, let's say, side angle. Same thing. Instead of putting the block on, out in front, they put it here, where the hand belongs. See how it lifts the floor, right? You guys feel that? The same thing here. Can't reach the ground, right? Oh, too tight, too tight. Put the block behind their ankle. So put your, left foot forward. Can everybody see? Putting the block behind the ankle and then gripping it like this. And then let's switch legs real quick. Put your left foot forward.
That does help a lot.
You feel that?
Yeah.
So you grip and pull. Another one, really cool one for our class. Just feels good. Take your block. Again, I'm not a huge, I'm kind of weird about this stuff. I don't like blocks and things touching my skin, so I always make sure I have my clothes in between. Take the block. Make sure your breasts are to the side so you don't hurt yourself. Again, even this. Right under the breastbone. and your upper abs. You guys feel that, like on your lower back and shoulders? It's like kind of reverses some of the stress. You feel it or no? It's
I
subtle.
think I do. I'm trying to.
This one is more subtle. I mean, this one I feel because I get lower back pain the other way from backward bending. So it just allows your spine to. You have to sit there a little longer though. Just give it some time to work its magic. That one is for lower back compression removal, basically. It like allows your pelvis to. Good for people that have lordosis. That's why if you don't have lordosis, you're not going to feel any relief from it. Okay? But again, just because you don't have lordosis doesn't mean other people don't. So that's used to relieve that constant. Lordosis is where your lower back is bent and your butt pushes out. So there's like an extreme, like, if you look at the S curve of their spine, they're facing this way. It's like their lower back goes way in, and then, you know what I mean? It's this deep arched. It's kind of like people, it always looks like their butt is sticking out and their belly is pushing forward. I have a little bit of lordosis, just a little bit. This actually does help it. It relieves the pressure. If you don't feel it, again, it's just you don't have that issue, so it doesn't affect you. It still would work though, so like you need to know, like you can try this. A lot of times too with your private clients and blocks, it's like, try this, try that, you know. Oh, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, that feels really good. And like, then you're like, okay, cool. So now you know, you make a note. Or you make a physical note. I actually keep notes on my private clients. And I'll write down, block under sternum, relieved lordosis pain. Okay, let me know how it feels tonight. You know, and then like you could even call them and be like, hey, Sam, you know, how's your lower back feel right now? It feels great. Oh, cool. Okay. Then make a note. Use in every class or something. You know, like you can check and see, like, did it work? Did it relieve it only for my class? Or did it relieve the pain for the, you know, this guy for the whole day? You know, like at night. Hey, do you still feel any pain in your low back? No, man, my back is feeling so good today. All I did was put a block under him for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. Another thing too with blocks, they're extreme even though you don't feel it. Don't do it for more than a couple minutes the first time. Because, you know, maybe it'll hurt their sternum or something, maybe it'll hurt their belly or whatever. So there's a lot of pressure in places that they're not used to doing. Like for me, that really relieved, like I've been having some lower back pain just for whatever reason. I think I have lordosis, and it's also from other stuff. That really relieved my low back pain just now. Like it really did. Not at extreme, but I have a little bit. Any questions or comments about the block? Yeah?
Last night I went to Yoga Sculpt and we used the block where we
Throwing it through the legs?
We did it between our legs, and then
Right.
one of them I really liked where we were like this and you press it into your, and then it makes your core even tighter. We do like that and press it into your knees, and then we did.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's right.
We
It's
did
used
one where like this, gosh, I wish I remember.
a bunch of different ones, right?
have
You
to
squeeze it
have
and you do
my version,
abs,
yeah.
right.
I loved it. I never did
Yeah,
that
there's
before.
this too, like
Never
watch.
held
So
it
I mean,
like that.
but that's more. This is sort of. It's a little bit off topic, but yeah, you can use it like this. So you can go like, you know, like this. Sorry, these pants have like a bead under them that hurts my low back when I use it, but like this. So you can do this, like you can do that, where you're like here,
Yeah,
right? And then you do like, you probably did this one.
Yeah, we did that one.
right?
My favorite was the
I mean, but this
press.
is like, now you're using it as a tool.
A tool, okay, it's not a
But
prop.
no, it's still a prop, but it's like a tool more, but it's okay. I mean,
It was fun though. I
Yeah, it
never
can
did
be used like
before.
that. Yeah.
And I was like, this is fun. I was like,
There are a million ways for us to use these. I'm just going to cover like the ones where in yoga class, this is mainly where I'll use it. I could probably teach 5 or 6 hours or more just on blocks. But for our purposes, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Oh, so every time you see a private client, do you bring 2 blocks?
No, I don't. It depends. I usually, the first time I go to a private, I still don't use blocks very often, to be honest. But when I go to a private client, I almost always bring a yoga mat and my phone so I can make notes. And then I do some mild measurements, just how far their forward fold is, what degree their back bends are, things like that. I make a note. Usually my private clients are sick in some way. They have a broken ankle they're trying to heal. They have, they're in a cast still. And they want to keep their upper body strong. They have MS, where I don't use blocks at all, but I do use bands with him. So with MS, people seated, it's good to add some weights, because the weights, since they don't have their body weight, right? We have our body weight. So like handstand push-up is an overhead press of 160 pounds for me. It's the same thing, I'm just inverted, but I'm still doing a handstand push-up. I'm still lifting a weight like that. But when they don't, you can bring props if you want to. That's a choice that you would make, whether you bring a prop or not. If I know the person's really tight, I might bring a prop. If I know, I'm like, this guy, I remember him from class, and I'm so glad that I gave him a block, then I might bring him a prop and say, like, you know what, I want you to practice with this. If you like it, you do need a prop for now, so I usually will have them buy their own prop, or you could supply it and sell it to them. I don't usually bring blocks with me, though. I don't usually. Depends on what the specific circumstance is. But it is fun to use them like that, like where you're throwing them through, or you're clipping them, or when you're doing elbow stand, you put them in here, right? So you like put your hands down like that, and then you kick up into elbow stand. Have we done that before?
we haven't, but I do know what you're
You know what I'm talking about. So that's another way that we could use them. Some people also will strap. So they'll put the block here, and then they'll put a strap around their back arms. Again, I'm not a strap user. I don't like them, so it's just a choice, but you can. There are a million different ways. This style is not prop heavy. We're not. Some places, like you go in, they've got blocks and blocks, straps, blankets, towels,
Yeah.
devices,
Pillows.
ropes from the wall, pillows,
Yeah.
bolsters, ropes on the walls with hooks. They just got all this stuff. And you're like,
Yoga is really just
I'm just doing yoga here. Like I don't need, the full dungeon. Okay. So, all right. What else? Discussion of understanding. We covered that. Challenges to specific poses. Oh, okay. So I do want to talk a little bit about this. Downward dog, hands, ankles, heels to floor. This is just something I see a lot of, and I do think like it's a genetic disposition or not. Like meaning like your bones are built a certain way. Some people will be able to get their feet all the way down. I'm actually taking my socks off so you can see. So like, for instance, like when I do down dog, and I don't think it's the years of yoga, my heels go all the way to the ground. Some people who've been with me for 15 years, their heels don't go to the ground. They just don't. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it's the shape of the joint. It's like one of those things. Handstand, everyone should be able to do handstand. Down dog, not everyone can. Because handstand is a skill. It's like you're programming your body's ability. Unless you if you've broken your arm in such a way where you can't bend your wrist a certain way, then you'd have to use like stilts. So there are handstand stilts you can use where you're like off the ground. Anyone see those like square? You grip them, or like those bars, or like anyway, they would use a special prop. There are a million props. There's all these things that they're selling people now. You just need a floor. But not everyone's going to get even simple poses. That's the purpose of that discussion. Maybe if they dedicated their life to yoga, maybe. But the question then becomes, is it worth dedicating my life to doing down dog to get my heels flat, even though now my ankles are swollen for 5 hours? You know, so you weigh those out as a teacher and you decide, like, you know, should this person do it? Oh, well, you've been doing it how long? 25 years. And your ankles are still? No. So you know what? You'll live a full life. You don't have to get your heels all the way down. Okay? But again, like, now, some people like hearing that stuff, some people don't. You have to make that choice, whether you want to say that. For me, I like being a realist with people. I find that there's so much like falsity in the world, from sales to people not showing up when they say they're going to be there, to, you know, just all this like fake stuff. So just be real with people, and I think most of the time they'll honor it. And if you're not, they'll figure it out, and then you'll get in trouble. So just be real. Like if you see there's a pose that they, even with props and straps and blocks and all that stuff, they're still 15 years later are not able to do it, maybe you should say, hey, you know what? I don't think that that's going to be an easy pose for you to do. Why don't we focus on you doing, like, you want to learn handstand? Let's do that. That's your down dog for now. Your heels aren't flat. That's okay. They're not going to be flat. Maybe you'll get it in another 10 years. But why don't we focus on something more, like, I don't know, something you feel like would be more fun or whatever, like something like handstand. Or why don't we work on something more, you know, that you could spend the whole hour trying to get their heels down, and it's a waste of their time, maybe, right? So that goes back to biological advantage, disadvantage. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about public speaking and tempo rhythm in class, music and rhythm discussion, just a little bit, and creating a playlist. So average beats per minute. How many of you are familiar with all of those different terms? Beats per minute?
Yeah.
BPM? Okay, BPM. Tempo rhythm? Following a tempo rhythm in a class?
It's like a flow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like our breath, like you're like inhale, exhale.
So there's like, yeah, there's like a flow with it, right?
Yeah, that's how I imagine it.
Yeah, it's like a,
Like an ocean or something.
yeah, there's a certain rhythm.
Swells and then.
Right. Kind of goes in line with the Fibonacci scale,
Yeah.
too. The Fibonacci, well, the Fibonacci rhythms, the natural rhythms, they talk about waves, the wave and crest and trough of the waves and the rhythms they follow
That's what I hope to get to as I get better at
when you teach.
Yeah.
So like there's a thing like, for instance, inhale upward dog, exhale downward dog, inhale right leg reaches, exhale lunge it through, inhale reach to the sky, exhale lower down, inhale upward dog, exhale heels flat, inhale left leg reaches, exhale lunge it through, inhale reach to the sky, exhale lower down slow, inhale pull and lengthen, exhale heels to the ground, inhale push back, exhale jump to the front, inhale extend your spine, exhale forward fold, inhale squat deep and reach high, exhale forward fold, inhale look up and extend, exhale jump back down slow, inhale spinal lubricating, exhale downward dog, inhale left leg extend, exhale swing it through, inhale crescent one, exhale chaturanga, inhale upward dog, exhale downward dog, inhale extend the heel, exhale swing it through, inhale hands to the sky, exhale down low and slow, inhale, whatever, you know. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? So you're doing that like with the rhythm of your voice, okay? So there's that. And then there's like the opposite of that, which would be something hard for me to do, but let's say like inhale, push your heels back down and good. Inhale, right leg reaches, exhale, now place your right foot at the front of your mat and turn your heels sideways, and now we're gonna, okay, come up to crescent, pose, breathe, down, okay, lower, up, wait, Sally, up, chaturanga.
I've taken
Inhale.
class like that.
Right, have you? Okay.
I have.
Right, so what was the experience like?
There was no flow. I was non-existent. And
Right.
people were stumbling, and I think we were all confused a lot.
And you're just like,
I never had taken, it's only happened to me once, and they're such a great person too, so it kind of sucks. But,
Oh, that was a friend of
yours? Someone I know, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just stumbling. You're just like, they were just not very good about just no flow.
they just didn't have the flow.
No flow.
Right. So there is such a thing as rhythm and flow in voice, and you can look at it under a sound that if you edit sound, which I do sometimes, there's like these little kind of, it looks like that, like the sound waves, they go, right? And it should look somewhat like that when you're teaching. If it's like all over the place, the students will be lost. They'll feel it'll break their rhythm. So you want to be a teacher that has the understanding of basic rhythm. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of this is something that we do. So take your block. You probably didn't know, but your block could be used this way as a little drum. And so we're just going to learn some basic rhythms. So there's like so one that I think I teach a lot with is like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's good actually. So we got that feeling, right? So there's right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, right.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's fine. Right, so you get the feeling, it's a rhythm to it.
I was just doing the same thing. I'm like,
Okay, so when you're teaching, a lot of it is like that was the rhythm we were doing, like right leg reaches, left, right. That's hard to do. I can't do it. I've never been able to sing and play drums at the same time. But that is the idea. So it's like 1, 2, cha cha cha, 3, 4, cha cha cha, 1, 2, cha cha cha, 3, 4, cha cha cha. That rhythm does work for teaching yoga. Another thing to understand too is like with the rhythm of the music. So like let's say we have a song going. Can you pause the recording for a second?